Alright, today we're going to show you how to char a guitar top. Got a little bit different stuff this time. This is an oak top. Beautiful quarter sawn piece of wood. Some nice figure in here. I'm going to go with a weed eater roofing torch that I got at Harbor Freight. We're going to light this sucker up, and we're going to take a much larger flame to the top. Some interesting learnings doing it this way. Really held the flame far away in the beginning, make sure I didn't really heat up the piece of wood too much. And so the first couple passes here, keeping the flame pretty far away, unsure how this is going to work. And fast forward here a little bit, learning that I need to bring the flame a lot closer. So you'll see here, I'll bring the flame another probably 6 or 7 inches closer. Begins to really char the wood. I go back and forth to make sure that I don't have it in one spot too much. Don't want to light this on fire. What I'm learning as I'm doing this here is I'm actually heating up the whole piece of wood with this bigger flame. So when I did this on the maple guitar last time, that flame only heated up really a small section of the wood. Here I'm actually heating up the whole piece of wood. And so as I'm doing this, I'm noticing the whole body is getting significantly hot versus the maple last time. The maple was really hot in one spot where I was using the flame. Here I'm really heating up the whole body. So I'm getting a little bit of flame out. Got to be a little bit careful with that, so I blow it out as it lights on fire. Here just going back and forth, and probably overburn it a little bit too much on the control cavity and that bridge pickup. But here I'm trying to get an even coating across the whole top, make sure everything's charred correctly. And then what I'll do is I'll immediately clamp this down on a flat surface. So this is my big bandsaw. I'll go ahead and clamp this down, make sure that it's not going to move too much as I heated up the piece of wood. And the top splits with the glue. You know, you're heating it up and it's going to split. So I take this wonderful wood putty, fill it in. Here it's looking pretty good. Then what we're going to do is sand off some of the char and bring back some of that figure. And this is my non-aggressive sander, and oak is a much harder wood than what I'm used to dealing with sometimes, and this sander is just not doing it. I should have brought this outside and done this with my Makita. That's much more aggressive. This took forever. This is actually 180 grit, and then I'll move up higher in grit all the way up to 400, but this sanding wasn't great. Needed that more aggressive sander. Was really unhappy with that line with the Wonderfill in the middle. It was too light. Didn't want it that high of a contrast, so I'm going to scrape out the Wonderfill and refill it with a little bit of a trick to get that line to disappear slightly. So we're just going to use this awl and bust out that filler. Then I'm going to take my filter from my shop vac, dump a little bit out on my table here, take some of that Wonderfill, mix it back up so it darkens up the wood, and rub it back in. So it's going to make that wood very similar to what I had sanded off, make that line less conspicuous. So then we're going to take a 1/4 inch round over here in my Colt sander, Colt router. Just going to round over the edge here. Get a really nice effect then of the burnt on the oak. So very similar to how Paul Reed Smith does that natural binding. I've got a natural bind on this. Just run this around here. So then here's the natural edge. So I've got the burnt top with the round over. It looks really sweet. We'll go back and do some sanding now, clean up the edge. Sand the front where I put the Wonderful back on. Just get the body prepped and all ready to go. So here you can tell where I overburnt a little bit on the control cavity and on the humbucker. So then we're going to go ahead and finish this. And I'm going to use minwax wipe-on poly. It is a clear finish. It's not yellow, so it won't tint out at all. So I'll apply this nice and thick. And of course my video is going to crash here for some reason as I was recording this initial first coat. So I restarted it. And you can see this is about 3 coats all applied at the same time. And you can see just how beautiful this figuring is. That line in the center really dissolved, which is really nice. Doesn't show as much. And then this back is a heat-treated ash back. And so I've got, you know, the heat-treated front and the heat-treated rear. And you can just see how beautiful the guitar turned out. A little bit overburning on the control and the humbucker, but really nice highlighting of the figure for this quarter sawn piece. Flecks of grain everywhere. That line in the center disappeared. So this looks pretty cool, completed. Lots of fun here. I'll put about 2 more coats on of the minwax poly and leave it. It'll be a real light finish. Really highlight that grain and the charring. And then here's that natural edge. Turned out really nice. You can see all the flecks in there, all the different lines of the grains running all over the place. So really, really neat edge. So there you go, guys. That's how you char an oak top. Thanks for watching. See you in the next vid, and check out my new website.